Mr. Speaker, I move the House to suspend the rules and pass S. 1698, the treatment of certain payments in Eugenics Compensation Act.
The clerk will report the title of the bill.
Senate 1698, an act to exclude payments from state eugenics compensation programs from consideration in determining eligibility for or the amount of federal public benefits.
Pursuant to the rule, the gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. McHenry, and the gentlewoman from New Jersey, Mrs. Watson-Coleman, each will control 20 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from North Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman is recognized.
I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days in which to revise and extend their remarks and exclude extraneous material on the bill under consideration.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in support of Senate Bill 1698, the treatment of certain payments in Eugenics Compensation Act, introduced by my friend and colleague, Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina. Senator Burr and Senator Tillis have been very active in getting this bill passed through the United States Senate, and it's a bipartisan bill that would help victims of state government eugenics campaigns by excluding one-time eugenics-related compensation payments from consideration when calculating federal benefits. In essence, this would ensure that the victims of state-based and state-mandated eugenics programs in the early part of the 20th century, which over 30 states actually had, it ensures that those victims are not further victimized by being kicked off the social safety net, which many are still, that are alive, still depend upon. Many of these victims are still alive today, as I mentioned. In North Carolina, at least 220 out of the reported 7,600 victims were still living as of September of last year. My home state has worked to make amends for those that the state victimized. Our state legislators, now led by Senator Tillis, passed and the governor signed legislation that provided large one-time compensation payments to victims of eugenics programs that are still alive and still in our society today. In North Carolina, victims can receive payments from the state government ranging from $20,000 to $45,000. And our state is not alone. Virginia has a similar program awarding $25,000 in compensation to each victim of the state's eugenics programs. These one-time compensation payments count as normal gross income under current federal law and could have the unintended effect of increasing some of the victims' reported income, thereby costing them access to some federal income-based benefits. Mr. Speaker, such an outcome is unfair. These individuals have suffered great pain at the hands of their state government and must not be further victimized by losing their important benefits they're receiving today. The takeaway is that this was a state-created problem and the state owed them compensation, and we should ensure that these individuals are able to get the benefits they need and deserve. Mr. Speaker, this is important legislation that is bipartisan. I'm happy to have the support of my colleague, G.K. Butterfield, a Democrat of North Carolina, representing Eastern North Carolina as a co-sponsor of this important bill. And with that, I would like to retain the balance of my time.
The gentleman reserves the balance of his time. The gentlewoman